Hello and welcome to Nice and Blunt for another live stream. Today is Thursday, June 19th, 2:45 p.m. We will be drafting on Underdog once again. Let us begin. All right, here's what we're doing. I still have 8 more drafts in the Schnauzer. I've been making sure to keep them available for the live stream, keep these buy-ins small, and have some fun along the way. Hopefully you can draft with me if you would like. So we're going to hop into the 20-second timer, $3 Schnauzer today. If you want to join me, I'm going to do it on my phone because last time didn't give me the location as I wanted. Hopefully, if you wanted to join me, you can do it with me. So I'm on a 6-second delay. If you want to hop in, hit the button right now, right this moment, and I will join you in 3, 2, 1. I am hopping in. I believe it's in. I believe it has. Yeah, there's 3 more spots left. If you want one, if you want to join us, you can. I will pull it up. Active drafts, 2 more slots left, 1 remaining. It is full. So let's go to the draft. Let's see what pick we get. Give us a good pick today. We get pick 1. We get the 101. Beautiful. Excellent. A Ja'Marr Chase team it is. Still underweight on Ja'Marr and happy to get him in this one. We normally do not get the 101. We've gotten so many pick 9 through 12 on the live stream. It gets a little bit tiring, but we'll be on the other side of the board. We'll be able to pull from anywhere because, like I've mentioned before, when you are at the bookend, you can reach a little bit and totally justify it. Hopefully, we get some good values. At pick 1, though, I'm not going to go crazy. I'm just going to take the guy at ADP because generally you can never really get him past pick 1. Like if you get Ja'Marr Chase at pick 3, you are very, very lucky. So we're not going to let that happen for the neck with a double K at pick 2 or Newsome 55. They are not getting Ja'Marr Chase. We are taking Ja'Marr Chase, especially on Underdog. Give me the wide receiver 1 from last year. Have to start 3 every week. Let's just get ahead of that position, give ourselves as best of an advantage as we can. So here it is. Let me get the dimensions for everything in order. Let's scoot that over. Zoom in just a little bit. There we go. And then pull that up a tiny bit. That looks good. That should be fine. How y'all doing? Hope you're having a good Thursday. Hope your week is going well. If, as always, you have any questions, whether they're fantasy or not related, feel free to fire away in the chat. But otherwise, just sit back, enjoy the show, and hopefully learn from my mistakes. We're obviously going to make at least one mistake in this draft. To get all the way through it without a single mistake is pretty unlikely. But who knows? Maybe today will be that perfect draft. And we do. How much does this tournament win? If you take home first in this tournament, I believe it's 100,000. Maybe I'm thinking of a different one. It's either 10K or 100K. I believe it's 100K. 100K to first. If we finish top 10, we get 7,000. If we finish, how many people in the final? 310 in the final. If we just make the final, we get $100 off a $3 buy-in. $100 not bad, but what we're really shooting for is a top 10 finish. That's where the real money is. That's where the true upside is. Obviously, we would love first prize, though, if we can get it. Anyways, we are already at pick 18. This draft is flying by. Love to see that. And so far, it's pretty typical. I don't see anything out of the ordinary. It does seem that Christian McCaffrey has, like, officially bumped his way up, not just above Ashton Genty, but like above all the receivers. I've been seeing McCaffrey, CMC go pick 7 quite a lot. So that's a trend to keep an eye on. I wonder if by the time we hit August, if CMC is going to be in the top 4. It seems like that's definitely a possibility, but Nico falls to 14. I have been fading Nico just a little bit myself. Josh Jacobs goes, I would have loved Josh Jacobs, but we do not get him. We don't get him. I think we're going to go Garrett Wilson because he's on the thumbnail. We'll take Garrett Wilson. And then we have another team in this where we already have Chase Brown, Trey McBride. Probably avoid both of them. Maybe we just go Rashee Rice. Top of ADP. Maybe not the most unique situation. But I'm a little underweight on Rashee. And according to the blurbs, all the reports, he will be a full go. So maybe I should have been drafting Rashee a little bit more earlier on when his price was cheaper. But I'm starting to come around. I'm starting to fade Xavier Worthy more than I'm fading Rashee Rice. I still think there's a world where Rashee Rice is kind of overpriced. Not convinced he is like clearly the wide receiver 13 or whatever we're taking here. Wide receiver 12, 13, 14. But all the receivers in round 3, I think are all kind of the same. My preference would be Davante Adams, but I have Davante Adams at a massive rate. I am very overweight Davante Adams. So we'll move off of that pick for the sake of mixing it up. So kind of a boring team so far. Not necessarily the most exciting roster we could get, but trip receivers in a format where you got to start 3 every week is a relatively safe strategy. We'll see how it pans out. But running back did kind of fade. I was hoping for Josh Jacobs there. I would have loved Josh Jacobs or perhaps Bucky Irving to fall, but we do not get him. We get sniped on Jacobs at 23. So we'll piece it together. We'll be all right. But we do see Josh Allen go to Team 9, who is ignoring receiver completely. We'll keep an eye on Team 9, see how that works out for them. But overall, nothing crazy in this draft. I have seen like Jaden Daniels fall to the end of round 4 quite a few times. If that happens, we will absolutely take Jaden Daniels. But it does not. He goes pick 39. So really nothing out of the ordinary. There's really nothing we can say about this draft so far that's like, wow, somebody has a very unique team. Nothing weird has happened yet. And that's kind of boring. That's like you hope you're drafting with some sicko that pulls random names out of a hat. But so far these are all very common teams. Nothing I haven't seen before. Hampton goes. I was hoping for Omarion Hampton. This may be like a 0 running back build, perhaps, because I can't say I'm dying to be reaching on Chuba Hubbard or Joe Mixon here. Can't say that is exciting. So perhaps we grab George Kittle, at least mix up some of our team, not just strictly wide receiver. But I don't think I'm going to grab Jalen Hurts here. Don't think I need him unstacked on this team. I think we're going to risk it for Joe Burrow coming back around. And then we will throw in Zay Flowers. I've been starting to draft Zay Flowers a bit more. I already have a lot of Sutton. And I view Sutton, Flowers, and Ridley all in the same tier. We will take Flowers. But at least we have a stud tight end. Kittle is a very safe pick. You've seen me take him at the top of round 4 in the past. At pick 12, we have taken Kittle all the way at pick 37 in the past. Again, not saying that's the correct thing to do, but at times it can be warranted. Kittle's a very safe pick. Pretty much locked into, at worst, like tight end 4. Unless he gets hurt, I can't really envision anyone other than Laporta, who has a lower ADP, outperforming Kittle if they all stay healthy on a full season. Like, is there anyone I can think of that would be more valuable than Kittle other than Laporta in like a best case scenario? I mean, I guess TJ Hockenson has a shot. TJ Hockenson has performed top 3 tight end in the past, but to expect JJ McCarthy to give him those level of targets, probably not going to happen. So, Kittle's very safe. We take Kittle. And I'm expecting a double running back pick at this next turn. But seems like RB's a bit favored in this draft so far. Like Connor goes at 62, Caleb Johnson at 61. At least those teams there wanting to get their guys. But Roma Dunze, Jerry Jeudy, Jawan Jennings. We got a shot for Burrow. But even if he's there, I'm not totally convinced that's actually the right pick. Like, yeah, it's probably... Okay, save us from ourselves. Thank you, Newsom. 55. Do they have T. Higgins? Yeah, they have T. Higgins. All right, we're going to grab Quinshon Judkins for sure. But damn, can't say I'm like dying to draft DeAndre Swift at this price. Not in love with Deebo Samuel. We could go Pearsall for that Kittle correlation, but not ideal. I think we just have to take Swift. I think Swift is safer than any other running back going after him, so not happy about it, but I will grab another running back here. We've got strong receivers, a good tight end. I think it's more important that we grab some of the tier break running backs because it sure is going to look way, way different with our next pick. There's no way we have good running back options at pick 96. So biting the bullet, just taking it. Maybe I should have just taken Chase Brown instead of Rashee Rice, but really we got sniped and we were going to be reaching on running back in general. Like, can't say I was dying to take Hubbard or Kamara there instead of Flowers, but maybe that was the right decision. Maybe that's what we should have done. It's okay. I like this team so far. I think it can totally work out. But Braden, what's up with you? Welcome. Good afternoon, Albie. You've completed all your schnauzers. No worries, my friend. It is what it is. As nice as it is to get Jamar Chase at the 101, in general, like being at the bookend pisses me off. Just not my favorite spot to be. Like, I'd much rather have like pick 3 than pick 1. Give me a little bit of spacing. I like to be able to look at those teams around the short turn and kind of be like, okay, well, what are they going to take? What can I scoop up before they go off the board? What values can I try and plan to come back around? At the bookend, there's no such thing as planning. You just take who you want most at that spot and live with it. And then you got a long wait. It's not as fun being at the bookend. It's just not. But if I didn't go Swift there, I think I probably would have gotten Jacoby Myers. I think Jacoby Myers is one of the safest picks in round 7. I think you could argue that he should be taken in the same tier as like Jordan Addison, Jalen Waddle. Yet he goes almost 2 rounds later, a round and a half later. And I wouldn't really be that shocked if Jacoby Myers outscored George Pickens, Travis Hunter, even Xavier Worthy and Jamison Williams. I genuinely think that's possible. He's more of a floor play. I prefer him in redraft rather than best ball because touchdowns are really the name of the game in best ball. But the beauty of Jacoby Myers in redraft is like every week he's kind of a consistent producer, and you can start him in your lineup knowing that he's going to give you a top 30 finish much more likely than not. If he underperforms, then, you know, it's a bad week, but that happens with everyone. There's always a bad game every now and then. In general, Myers is like very steady, very consistent. He can give you a 75-yard, 6-catch game, kind of like clockwork. And if you can just bank 10 points in your flex, that's usually a good player in redraft. So someone I like in that spot a little bit more than not. But I think we're going to go Justin Fields, pair him up with Garrett Wilson, get that Jets stack. And then the question is, do we grab a running back or do we just take Cooper Kupp? Absolutely taking Justin Fields. And you know what? Yeah, let's go with Cooper Kupp. Opens us up for Sam Darnold. If Kupp can stay healthy, I mean, he's got the big contract, 15 mil per season. There should be a lot of targets sent his way. The question is, will he remain healthy? Probably not. But until he goes down, he should be a consistent target for Sam Darnold in that offense. They're going to get him the ball. It's just a question of will he be on the field long enough to pay off this draft capital. I hope so. Do I feel really confident about it? Not so much. But in best ball, I'm willing to take that shot. In redraft, I would be very concerned about drafting Cooper Kupp. Not one of my favorite picks. Feels very risky. As talented as he has been in the past, the last few years, the injuries have really piled up. He's just not quite the same player. So really just an optimistic hope and a prayer with him. But he does fall about 7 picks. So as he continues to fall, maybe worth taking. But you could convince me that Jaden Higgins or Keon Coleman is a better selection. If Rashad Bateman scores another 9 touchdowns like he did last year, then Bateman's probably a better pick as well. But in terms of guaranteed snaps to start the year, yeah, I do think Cooper Kupp will be on the field more than some of these other players. However, in Seattle, I do think the rookie Torrey Horton is a name to keep in mind. Torrey Horton has some speed and size to him. Six 6'3", runs a 4.41. Played pretty well in college, Colorado State, before going down. As a sophomore and junior, he put up over 1,130 yards in back-to-back seasons with 8 touchdowns in 12 games both of those years. He did get injured his senior year, but coming off that injury, I do think Torrey Horton has a lot of potential. What round was he drafted in again? Round 5. So maybe that's the reason he fell coming off the injury, but I do think Torrey Horton has a big chance to emerge as that number 3 receiver in Seattle. And obviously, if Kupp does go down, then Horton could be a very valuable piece. But one thing to keep in mind about Torrey Horton as that number 3 receiver, kind of weird that I'm talking about an undrafted player right now at this stage, but his really only competition would be Marquez Valdes-Scantling in that system. And the only reason to worry about MVS is the fact that Clint Kubiak, who was the offensive coordinator for New Orleans last year, is the new offensive coordinator in Seattle. They replaced Ryan Grubb after what I don't think was like a terrible season from Grubb, but they went with Kubiak. And MVS did have some productive weeks as the number one receiver in New Orleans last year after both Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed got hurt. They brought in MVS. They traded for him. Or maybe he was cut by the Bills. I forget which one it was. But he started the year with Buffalo, moved on to New Orleans, and he actually put up some decent numbers for a small stretch of time with New Orleans and Clint Kubiak. So maybe beginning of the season, Kubiak favors MVS, but I do think as the year moves along, Torrey Horton will be the guy you want as the backup there. But I don't really understand why Caleb Williams has like consistently fallen in these drafts. I've seen him around this turn so many times. Maybe not like all the time. His ADP is still 109, but at pick 121, I don't think I can pass on Caleb Williams. I'm going to take Caleb. We have Swift, not like the best stack in the world, but is a bit of a stack. And then we also have George Kittle for that week 17 correlation. So our QBs here are Justin Fields, Caleb Williams. These are my most two drafted quarterbacks so far on Underdog. Both going around pick 100 to 110 in round 9. And as Caleb Williams moves down the board, I will not pass him up. I will take Caleb Williams at pick 121. I think he has by far the highest upside of any quarterback remaining. Like maybe Justin Herbert could put up a top 10 season. Maybe Prescott can get back to that, but Prescott coming off of injury, not one of my favorite picks. If I don't have CeeDee Lamb or George Pickens, it's really unjustified in my view. I do not draft much Dak Prescott. Meanwhile, Caleb Williams bound to make a big leap forward and also has very underrated rushing stats. While he had no rushing touchdowns last year, he also ran for just under 500 yards. I believe it was 489 yards rushing from Caleb Williams last season. Let me pull it up. Has absolutely legit speed. Runs a 4.56. In terms of quarterbacks, that's the 94th percentile. Caleb Williams can burn you. Ran for 483 rushing yards last season. I believe that was on par. I believe that was more than Kyler Murray. Pretty sure that was more than Kyler. Yeah, Kyler ran for 418. So I don't really love the price on Kyler, but everyone justifies it because of the rushing stats. Meanwhile, Caleb gives you more rushing stats on a per game basis than Kyler over the course of the season, yet he goes later. I don't understand the Caleb Williams hate. I think maybe just because he's so zesty. He's the Karl Anthony Towns of the NFL, and everyone likes to shit on him with his nail polish and his pink phone case. But like, who the fuck cares, man? He's good at football, and Ben Johnson's gonna make him even better. Give me Caleb Williams at a big discount. Best ball on call. Good luck to you. But if round 11 is going to be where the big run on QB goes, and I'm getting Caleb Williams as opposed to J.J. McCarthy in the same round, just 7 picks later, way more valuable, in my opinion, to have Caleb Williams. So I'll die on this hill. I don't give a shit. I would have liked to have some stacking option. We see Colston Loveland go 137, so doubt he would have fallen back around, but starting to make it kind of interesting. Just doesn't make it all the way. We have George Kittle though. It's not that big of a deal. We don't need Loveland on this team to succeed. But really just running back is the only question mark. So I'm definitely going to be drafting 6 RBs. I might double up here at this turn. Ray Davis goes. Would have loved Ray Davis. But I'll probably take Benson for sure, unless he gets sniped, obviously. No, that guy goes Quentin Johnston. We're taking Benson. Absolutely give me Benson. And then, do we go with Garendo? Do we go with Jaden Blue? No, I'm going to take Isaiah Likely. As Leggett moves up the board, I'm not totally convinced the Leggett is like an excellent pick. Meanwhile, Likely has some of the highest upside overall in the entire ADP, and we're already strong enough at receiver where, like, I don't know how much guys like Leggett, Palmer, and Tillman are really going to contribute in my roster. Not that much more than players we can get in the final rounds. So let's just shore up our second tight end. We've got the elite floor with Kittle, the elite ceiling with Likely. This is a deadly combo, especially if Andrews loses any value. And then at receiver, we have Jamar Chase, Garrett Wilson, Rashee Rice, Zay Flowers, and Cooper Kupp. Quarterback, we got Justin Fields with the Garrett Wilson stack. Caleb Williams only stacked up with DeAndre Swift, but not the end of the world. That rushing value is justified to take him unstacked. And then our other running backs are Quinshon Judkins, Swift, Bashal Tutin. We need Tutin to work out. And then Trey Benson, we need James Conner to go down. And that's the path for glory. The team has high upside. I think this is a good team. We still have 5 more rounds. Got to land this plane safely. But I do like the roster. I think there's some good correlation, some good bets here, and then obviously a few good values when it comes to Caleb. Not many other players though we got at a big discount. In general, nobody else really fell tremendously before we took him, but I like the team. I think we have very good quarterbacks, very good receivers, and a very good tight end core. So need to get a little lucky at running back. We can still fill it in. And if we do hit on some of these late round running backs, then that's one of the highest correlating factors of how you actually win these tournaments. Hitting on the right late round running backs is where you compensate. Like last year, Chuba Hubbard going in this range, absolute league winner. Year before that, Kyron Williams going undrafted, league winner. Do not snipe me on Braylon Allen. Thank the Lord we get Braylon Allen, another Jet. Love to have him. So we're going to let the timer expire, use the most of this clock. We're grabbing Braylon Allen for sure. And then maybe we grab a receiver. The hype is definitely pivoting in favor of Leggett, but Adam Thielen has been the more productive receiver by far in Carolina. So we'll take Adam Thielen. We have 5 running backs and 6 receivers. And the rest of this draft were strictly RB wide receivers. So if we just grab one of each on these turns, that's one of the safer ways to go about it. That's what we'll do. But who knows? Maybe Adam Thielen is still one of Bryce Young's favorite targets. Maybe Adam Thielen is actually like a fucking steal at this price. He has been the last few years. Thielen has been really productive. And if we pull up his game log, he had a very interesting season last year. Started off with Deontay Johnson on the roster, was not the wide receiver 1, and these stats really show it. He had 1 touchdown, but didn't surpass 50 yards in the first 3 games. Then he went down. I believe it was a hamstring injury. Maybe it was something else. But after 1 week of quote-unquote rust, he was the clear wide receiver 1 in Carolina and put up some good stats. 3 games with over 99 yards. And an average of 75 yards per game in those last 6 games on 6.2 catches with 4 touchdowns. That is... that's almost 15 points. That's like 14 points right here. If my math is correct. That's about 14 points per game. Obviously, that's probably not what we're expecting with Tetairoa McMillan coming into town, but maybe Tech gets injured. Maybe Leggett does not live up to expectation. Maybe the coach speak on Leggett is just that, just coach speak. And Thielen maintains some of his dominance on the field. But at his age, Thielen is you know, it's understandable why Thielen's price is so late, but still talented, still a decent receiver. Has the potential to still be underrated in his respective offense, but if Shipley falls back to us, we'll take Shipley for sure. I think DJ Giddens would also be an interesting pick. Kind of curious how Miles Sanders is moving up the board. Like, one good report for him to take first team reps is really interesting. Sanders and Javonte have been getting most of the first team reps at June minicamp. So Jaden Blue moving down. But am I convinced that Miles Sanders has really anything left in the tank? No. Sanders has been a liability, and he goes at 188. So we can let other people grab Sanders. I'm not really dying to draft Sanders. Mason Taylor is still there, but we have Kittle, we have Likely. I don't know if I need Mason Taylor just because I have Fields. Not dying to draft Mason Taylor. We have Garrett Wilson. Let's pass on Mason Taylor. We're going to go DJ Giddens for sure. Absolutely. And then I'm starting to talk myself into Darius Slayton a little bit. But in general, all these receivers at this point kind of all blend together. Not necessarily that exciting, but fuck it. We'll go Darius Slayton. Here's where I'm like interested in Slayton. We have new quarterbacks in New York with the Giants. Maybe some of them will favor him. There are some reports that Russell Wilson likes Jalen Hyatt down the field, but Darius Slayton is really their big deep threat. Here's the thing. Here's the upside. In weeks 5 and 6, these 2 games where Malik Nabers had a concussion, these are the games where Malik Nabers did not play for the Giants. Darius Slayton was the clear number 1 target with 11 targets in back-to-back games. So if Nabers ever goes down, it's not Wan'Dale who you want. Wan'Dale is not giving you 11 targets down the field. Wan'Dale might give you 11 targets, but they're all going to be checkdowns, all with like fucking 4 air yards apiece. Wan'Dale is not the high upside machine. Wan'Dale is the high floor player, much better in redraft than best ball. Slayton, I mean, one of these games, 8 catches, 122 yards and a touchdown. That's 22 fantasy points. That's what we're hoping for. Granted, it only came in 2 games without Malik Nabers on the field, but then there was another game 2 weeks after that with 4 catches, 108 yards. And who knows, maybe Jackson Dart really likes him. Maybe that happens. Maybe Jameis Winston starts chucking it as well. They paid Slayton a decent contract. I think he's a decent pick at this range. I'm not convinced he's going to be a league winner, but you're not drafting a loser. You're not getting 0 fantasy points from Darius Slayton when you take him. Meanwhile, if you took Tyler Lockett, you can absolutely get like no contribution in your lineup at all. There's a world where that is absolutely irrelevant. So I'm going to go with Slayton here. We're going to hope for the best. And then the question is, do we grab another receiver or do we grab another running back? Because our running back core is still a bit thin. We got Judkins, DeAndre Swift, Bashal Tutin, Trey Benson, Braylon Allen, DJ Giddens. Albie likes Giddens. Giddens, very talented prospect. Question is, will he actually get on the field? Even if Jonathan Taylor goes down, probably not much. Kind of dependent on a Jonathan Taylor injury, but Taylor has been getting hurt repeatedly last few years. So definitely a shot for him to get on the field. Someone went with Dante Thornton. That's interesting. I've been taking Thornton earlier on, not so much lately, but he's been moving up the board thanks to some good camp reports. However, I think we're going to grab someone that can correlate with Justin Fields. The question is, which Jets receiver will be relevant? Is it Josh Reynolds coming into camp? Probably not. Is it Allen Lazard, who had a relatively decent season with Rodgers? Probably not. Is it the rookie Arian Smith? I have no idea. I don't want to give up on Malachi Corley, but banged up at OTA is not ideal. Malachi Corley, a player I really liked last year. I'm going to put him at the top here of the queue. And if we don't make a decision, Burton is probably a better pick. It's between Corley and Jermaine Burton. Nah, I don't think I can go with Corley. We already have Garrett Wilson, so we'll go with Burton. Burton, we timed out. That was our 18th round pick. So this is the team. We have Justin Fields, Caleb Williams. Here, let me pull it up over here. No big stacks with Caleb Williams, but a big discount, so happy to take him at 121. And then running back, we got Quinshon Judkins. Let's hope that that works out. DeAndre Swift, if healthy, should be a top 20 running back. That's generally what he offers. Bashal Tutin, I think, will pop off. Hopefully he can be this year's Bucky Irving. That is my hope. Benson needs James Conner to go down, obviously. The hype on Braylon Allen, though, is kind of legit. There are some reports from guys like Albert Breer, someone I really respect in terms of NFL reporters, saying that Braylon Allen going to be much more involved than last year, more of a committee in that backfield. And I do think Braylon Allen has some legit value where he's going at 168. Then DJ Giddens, obviously hoping for an injury. We need some help with these handcuffs, but still the running back core is not terrible. And then the receiving core is very strong. We have Jamar Chase, Garrett Wilson, Rashee Rice, Zay Flowers, Cooper Kupp, Adam Thielen, Darius Slayton, and Jermaine Burton. And then our tight end core is absolutely exceptional. George Kittle, Isaiah Likely, love to see it. I like this team. I think it's very competitive. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. So that's it for draft one. Let's go on to another one. We are hopping into the $3 Schnauzer. And let's try it on the computer. If you want to join me, hit that button right now. And hopefully my location is on. It looks like it is. There's 10 more spots. Come hop in if you want. Take my money. Let this thing fill. And this will be the last draft of this stream. In a couple hours, I'm going to be leaving to go play some golf. And I'm very excited for that. I got the twilight rate at this 9-hole course in LA called Roosevelt. $11 after 6 p.m. for 9 holes. There's no carts. You got to walk it, but who cares? I'll gladly take the exercise. It is a fun course. Really scenic in Griffith Park. Got some really nice views. Like there's one hole you get a great view of the observatory. Some other views of the city. Yeah, for 9 holes, it's a steal. At this time, especially, we got the summer solstice in just 2 days. Like, you can absolutely get 9 holes in starting at 6 p.m. till sundown. And, you still have some daylight by the time you're done. Like, at 6 p.m. for $11, it is a great, great price. Love playing there. If you are in LA, I would highly recommend checking out Roosevelt Golf Course. The twilight rate is fantastic. But even if you're not playing at twilight, it's a cheap course. It's very underpriced for the experience you're getting. It's not like mismanaged either. Like, you're not running into a ton of like dirt patches or anything. It's really a really good course for the price. Probably one of the best deals in LA for golf. But played a Pete Dye course on Sunday that had a plaque stating that par 3 you're about to play is the hardest par 3 he's ever designed. Par 3s are deceptively difficult. Like, if you don't have the short game down, you can really feel bad about your game on a difficult par 3 course. If anything, I think they're the best practice courses you can do. Like, if you want to improve on your golf, play a par 3 and like only limit yourself to like, the 8-iron through, the wedges and the putter. Like, if you only bring like 4 clubs with you, 8 pitching wedge, a sand wedge, and a putter, go to a par 3 and Enjoy yourself. You will definitely improve on your skills. But we have pick 11, so a much different draft than last time. Thankfully, we're not exactly at the bookend, but not my favorite place to be at pick 11. It's decent. It's not bad. The Cardinal in Greensboro. What state is that in? Which state? Maybe I'll be passing through at some point. Julius in with us at 10. Rez Dog, welcome in. This should be fun. You'll snipe me, I'll snipe you. We'll try to keep it friendly, but if there's a player that obviously correlates with my team and you want him, don't feel like you have to leave him for me. Go ahead and snipe me if you really want to. I'm not going to hold back. But North Carolina. Okay. Greensboro, North Carolina. Good to know. I've never been to North Carolina. I've only been to Florida in terms of the southern states. And even that was like a short-lived experience. I was at a film convention back in high school. I forget what that convention is called. It might be STN, Student Television Network. I think that's what it's called. We were staying at the Orlando hotels. It wasn't linked to Disney. It was just took place in Orlando. But otherwise, I've never really explored the South very much. I'd be interested to do that when I have some time. But otherwise, I've explored the Northeast, the Midwest a little bit, and then the Southwest, California, Arizona, Nevada. I drove through New Mexico, though. Drove through Denver once. Drove through Nebraska. I've lived in Iowa a little bit, but North Carolina, that area, not really a spot I've been to in the past. Pinehurst in Southern Pines makes a great golf trip. I'll keep that in mind. My buddy wants to go on a golf trip for his bachelor party, so we're not quite sure where we're going to go. We'll probably go to somewhere on the West Coast, though. I don't know if we're going to hop on a plane or go for a drive, but I'll think about it. Okay, it looks like we get St. Brown. I'll happily take St. Brown. We don't get a good value on running back, so that's fine. We'll just take Amon-Ra. And then see what happens coming back around. If we get sniped on both receivers, I will take London over I take Henry. I think I'm going to go with another heavy receiver build early on. I kind of liked how it worked out. Obviously, like, Judkins isn't like the best RB1, but not the end of the world. And I think we can still piece it together. But I'm hoping this guy takes Brian Thomas because I don't really want to let him fall any further. But I have a lot of Brian Thomas. I've been trying to increase my exposure to London. I'm hoping for London here. Yeah, Brian Thomas goes. We'll take Drake London happily. Just move on. With these stud top two receivers, we're in good shape. We'll figure things out. Hopefully we can get Kyron. Or who knows, maybe Chase Brown falls to 35. I really doubt it. Chase Brown has been hyped up as one of the best picks in round 3 because he is. So much that I haven't really seen Chase Brown fall past like pick 32 in a while. I've seen Chase Brown go in the early portion of round 3 a lot more lately. But ideally, that's who we get. But Julius Cook says, not a big sniper, more concentrated on my own team. Don't worry. That's probably the right move, especially in these tournaments. Like, it doesn't help you to get jealous of somebody else's team and just try and handicap their roster, because in general, it's not really going to benefit yours. Like, maybe it will. You know, maybe you have the snipes, the stacks as well lined up where, like, that's a snipe you need to make. But otherwise, just for the sake of, like, oh, I need to spite that roster, usually doesn't help you very much. But this team at 5, I think, is going to get Ladd McConkey. That's a good start. Bijan. Oh no, A-Chain's still on the board. Wow. To start off Bijan, A-Chain, that's pretty nice. Jay Jetta's Ladd McConkey, also pretty nice. I don't understand taking Jonathan Taylor and Bucky Irving over A-Chain, though. That I do not understand. Like I kind of understand the hype on Taylor and Bucky, but you need to really look at some best case scenarios and ignore some of the red flags. Like Taylor often gets hurt, and there was a 5-game stretch after his high ankle sprain where he was not very good. Otherwise, Taylor was excellent, but you're kind of getting the same type of ceiling as you already get with Achane. And Achane had a few like bad games at the beginning of last season when Tua went down, but after like 2-3 games with the backup quarterbacks, Achane found his footing, and Mike McDaniel just sent him a shit ton of looks. Achane was still phenomenal, even with the backup quarterback. So I would absolutely go Achane over Taylor and Bucky Irving. There's an argument you should take Achane over Derrick Henry, but I do think there's a big tier break after Henry and Achane compared to Taylor, Bucky, and Josh Jacobs. Those are definitely the next best 3 in my view, but is there much of a difference between Taylor and Chase Brown? Not that much. Not really. But Chase Brown goes 28, so our dream of Chase Brown at pick 35 does not materialize. Not today. Oh, that team at 8 going rainbow strategy. We'll see how that works out for team 8. Terry goes, not afraid of the holdout. Lamar off the board. So we'll go Kyren. The team behind us does not have running back, so don't expect Kyren coming back around. I don't draft a ton of Kyren. I've been drafting much more Devontae Adams over Kyren. But, I'm going to take Tet. Give me the rookie over Evans. I'll give Team 10 a little gift there in terms of ADP. I already have a lot of Tet McMillan, but I don't know. I just kind of feel a little disappointed when I go with Mike Evans. I think there's a little more upside with Tet. I say that, meanwhile, Mike Evans has been money in the bank every fucking year. But I'll leave Evans on the board. Leave him for Julius. Let me know, Julius. Are you happy with Mike Evans there? Or did you want Tet McMillan? Whenever I try to evaluate Tet's season, like I brought up those Adam Thielen stats earlier on where he was averaging 14 points per game at the end of the season as the wide receiver 1. That is like locked into my mind where like that's what you're going to get from Tet McMillan. I could totally be wrong, but I also harp in on this season he put up last year with some like insane games. And like really it's just it's just week 1 that like convinces me like nothing else matters in terms of like worrying about Tet McMillan. He had 10 catches, 304 yards, and 4 touchdowns in week 1 against New Mexico. Like to put up those numbers in a college game, that's just insane to me. That's really all I need to know in terms of like mitigating any concerns. Like if that's what you can do in week 1, then I kind of excuse a week 2 that, you know, is a big fall from grace, 2 catches for 11 yards. In best ball particularly, I think we could get like several 100-yard games with maybe multiple touchdowns from Tet McMillan. I may be incorrect, but at 6'4", 219, he's not fast, but at 4.58, we've seen plenty of players play really well at this speed. Like Adams doesn't have much faster metrics. Cooper Kupp didn't have much faster metrics. They put up elite numbers, and he was drafted at the 108 from a by a coach that we've seen really really put up some good wide receiver numbers in terms of fantasy, but had 1,400 yards, 10 touchdowns the year before as well. Tet is a very good prospect. And in 2023, there were also some like fantastic games. He had a close to the season with 100 yards in every single game. One game with 266 and a touchdown. In best ball, I just get so enticed by Ted McMillan. But Julia says he's not a big fan of Evans. Normally try and get Godwin or another Denver receiver just in case of injuries. I think you mean Tampa receiver, but I understand what you mean. But do appreciate the ADP gift. Yeah, in terms of ADP, in round 4, hard to say that that's a bad pick. We're going to go Kenneth Walker. The team after us, kind of thin at running back, so we're going to take K9 here. Walker kind of scares me. So does Kyron, honestly. These two KW players. I worry about him a little bit, but not enough to like never draft them. And I'm starting to come around on Chris Olave. We'll take Olave. Addison with the suspension, little scary, but definitely tremendous upside. Albie says take Henderson. I have too much Henderson to take him here. I have so much Travion Henderson. And the trends are that Henderson has been falling. Like Henderson he's going to go after Montgomery in this draft. So I don't feel like I desperately have to take Travion Henderson. But I do think Henderson's a very good pick here in the 6th round. I do not believe in Ramondre Stevenson. So I do endorse Travion Henderson in round 6. But I'm definitely more on the side of Zach Charbonnet in Seattle than Kenneth Walker. Walker's good, but he just keeps getting hurt. Last year only played 11 games. He's never played a full season as a rookie, only had 15 games played, 15 games in year 2. Last year missed 6 games. And I also believe he like missed some of the games when he was playing. Yeah, like only 59% of snaps in week 16, only 8 carries, but 8 targets. I don't know if he's going to be the target hog this year that he was last season. I'm not convinced that that's going to happen. And in terms of these snap shares, it's not that enticing. Like 66%, 59%, 67, 69. He had 2 weeks over 70, but otherwise a lot of games with less than 60% of the snaps. That's not that exciting. And for him to go down right after he gets 20 touches week 1, like that's kind of emblematic of, yeah, he's probably not going to be a workhorse. So I took him here just because he was at the top of ADP, but I'm not really convinced he's like one of the best picks off the board at running back in this range. I'd much rather have Chuba. I think I'm starting to rather have Kamara as well. I'd rather have Travion Henderson. Obviously, Montgomery has a top 5 ceiling if Gibbs goes down, so you can argue for even Montgomery over Kenneth Walker. If it wasn't for that insane highlight play where he like did a front flip over the player trying to tackle him, somersaulted and landed on his feet, then there's kind of like not that many good things to point to for Walker. But maybe I am underrating his receiving role. It makes him better in PPR, though. This is a half PPR setting, so maybe not that ideal. But I can't say I'm like super confident in the passing game in Seattle beyond JSN, so they probably do continue to funnel touches to the running back position, and he is the RB1 on the depth chart at the very least, but I kind of feel like his ADP is a bit overpriced, in all honesty. The team after me only has 1 running back, so we're going to grab Aaron Jones for sure. I do not like Brian Robinson. I draft very little Brian Robinson. I'd much rather have Aaron Jones than Brian Robinson. So we'll take Aaron Jones here. Also, kind of a minor correlation with Amon-Ra St. Brown. The Vikings and the Lions do play each other in Week 17, but can't say that that's the key to winning this thing. Maybe it helps, but mainly I'm taking Aaron Jones because I think he's a better pick than Brian Robinson. And then I think there's a massive tier break at running back following Brian Robinson. So don't want to get caught with my pants down. And then we have Drake London. We're going to go Darnell Mooney. And then this is going to definitely be a Michael Penix team. We're going to draft both Falcons receivers. And we will be stacking up Michael Penix later on. At least that's going to be the target. It'll be a lot more likely to happen given no other team has any Falcon other than the Bijan team at pick 5. So that's the only team we got to worry about. But in general, you're not dying to stack Bijan with Penix. It's kind of like a consolation prize in terms of stacks when you pair up the running back with the quarterback. But Bijan does catch a shit ton of passes. If there is a running back you're trying to stack up with a quarterback, Bijan's one of the better ones to do that. Last year, Bijan had 86 targets. In his rookie season, he had 72 targets. That's a player you can totally justify targeting a QB stack, but we'll risk it later on. I think we're going to try and target Michael Penix at pick 155, 158, not 131, 134. I think we're going to try and get him in round 13, not round 12. But depending on how quarterback goes, maybe our hand will be forced and we'll have to take him a little earlier. But so far, this team is very balanced. We don't have a quarterback or a tight end yet, but our receiving core is fucking loaded. We have Amon-Ra St. Brown, Drake London, Tet McMillan, Chris Olave, Darnell Mooney. We can ignore receiver for a while. And then running back, a little bit risky, but definitely a lot of volume headed our way. We have Kyren Williams, Kenneth Walker, Aaron Jones. I think there's a lot of injury risk with these three players. But if we get lucky in terms of the injury bug, then we do have some decent production lined up for those guys. But this is not going to be a Caleb Williams team. Don't think I'm going to take him. But is there something I'm missing on Caleb Williams? Why is he falling so much? Because ADP has dropped to 109. We got him at 121 in the last draft. And I've seen him go in the 120s a few times. This team has Jaden Daniels. So I think I'm going to go Evan Ingram. I can't say I love really any of the running back picks here like crazy. So let's just grab our tight end. I think Ingram has a lot of potential if he can stay healthy, if that joker position in Denver is really going to materialize as what's his face, Sean Payton has indicated. And then hopefully that's something to look forward to. But ETN goes, I'm going to grab Charbonnet, and we're just going to lock up all the touches in the Seattle backfield. We mentioned Walker scares me because of injury, and maybe he misses so much time that really you should just have Charbonnet and not Walker at all. But if it's like last year, you're going to get about 11, 12 games from Walker. And then when Charbonnet fills in, Charbonnet is an instant top 12 running back. One of the most valuable handcuffs in the NFL. So that's what we're doing. Kind of a safety play, but not one that I hate. We also get some interesting correlation in terms of week 17. Now that I'm thinking about it, we have a lot of correlation in week 17. The Falcons play the Rams. We have London and Mooney against Kyren Williams. And then the Panthers also play Seattle. So we have Tet going up against the Seattle running backs. We have some correlation here for week 17. And that's where all the money is made in this tournament. So it is relevant. It's not something I think is necessary to focus on all the time. But in terms of tiebreakers, it is somewhat important and can lead to some high return on investment. Maybe that Seahawks-Panthers game is really the high-scoring game we would like to see. But it's more likely that Falcons-Rams game is more high-scoring in the Dome in Atlanta rather than in Charlotte, North Carolina. Is it in Charlotte or is it in Raleigh? It might be Raleigh. Panthers Stadium is in Charlotte. Charlotte, North Carolina. Okay, we're definitely grabbing a quarterback around this turn, though. We need a quarterback on this team. I don't only want to go in with Michael Penix. But who knows? Maybe we punt and we draft like Penix and Bryce Young at the next one. I'm going to draft Jordan Love here, and hopefully I can get Tucker Kraft to pair up with him. That way I can kind of just call it done at tight end. I would love to exit this draft with just 2 tight ends. I think I'm going to be drafting 3 quarterbacks. And although David Njoku probably has higher upside, I'm going to go Tucker Kraft. Let's mix it up. Njoku gets hurt. They drafted Harold Fannin. I also have a lot of Njoku already. So we'll go with Tucker Kraft. And that way we do have a stack on this team. We have Love and Kraft. And we're at least going to get another stacking option. Hopefully, both that we want. But there is a world where Penix does not make it back around. At worst, I'm hoping for Bryce Young on this team. And hopefully that team with Kyle Pitts, they have Allen and Jared Goff, I think will be okay. But there's a lot of quarterbacks that have been taken on this side of the board. I noticed that earlier on. So I think I can gamble that Penix does make it around. I mentioned earlier I'm not going to be reaching on Penix at 134. I'm going to try and get Penix at 155 after ADP. Stroud goes. So hopefully things work out for us. But that was the team I was worried about. Team 5 with Bijan was the team I was worried might grab Michael Penix. And they go Stroud with Baker. So with 2 quarterbacks, hopefully they are off the position at 149. I think if Penix makes it past 149, I will get him at 155. I believe that will happen. But let's take a look at ResDog's team, who is drafting with us at pick 10. At QB, you got Lamar Jackson. Love the likely pick. I'm glad I left Rashad Bateman for you. I'm glad you got the stack there. I almost took Bateman at 110, I'll be honest with you. But I felt like I was comfortable enough with my receivers not to need him. But glad you got him. You also have Derrick Henry, so heavy investment in Baltimore. That's nice. Running backs are Henry, Kamara, old heads, but should work out. Scatterboo, Javonte Williams. I like the price on Javonte Williams. What a steal there. I'm still on the Javonte Williams bandwagon. I don't believe in Miles Sanders. I don't really believe in Jaden Blue. If I'm putting my eggs in one basket, it would be the Javonte Williams investment in terms of Dallas Cowboys running backs. They go Dobbs. Hell yeah. That was the team I was worried about with Penix. So unless someone takes him unstacked, I guess that Kyle Pitts team could take him. But they have Goff, they have Allen. I don't think they're going to take Kyle Pitts. I don't understand why they didn't go Kincaid over Kyle Pitts when you have Allen. That feels unwise. But and then receiver, ResDog, you got Malik Neighbors, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Brandon Ayuk. Did you get sniped on Baker? No, you just passed on Baker. Okay. Went with TJ Hawkinson instead and Isaiah Likely. Just don't snipe me on Penix here, bro. That's all I ask. You mentioned you're not a sniper. Thank you, my friend. Penix, absolutely the pick. We're not going to gamble that Rich 99 takes him from us. If anything, we're trying to get Bryce Young here. But they go Leggett. They might take Bryce Young. If that's what they do, I might just go Tyler Algier. They go Algier. So, no, we will just take Bryce Young. We have Tet McMillan. Maybe we can get Adam Thielen later. And who knows, maybe we go Jatavian Sanders to finish it up. But, yeah, definitely give me Bryce Young. We got 2 Week 5 buys with Love and Penix, so having the third is definitely warranted. But I don't feel confident enough with Love or Penix to feel like having only that combination of the two is safe enough. So I actually really like the value on Bryce Young. I'm definitely a believer in him at ADP. And he did kind of close the season with some top 12 numbers at the position. I think Bryce Young is actually very underrated, especially with Tet McMillan coming in. I think Bryce Young could be a top 15 quarterback on a per game basis next season. I think Bryce Young is going to be one of the values of the draft. He's probably going to go undrafted in your regular redraft league, but expect to be picking him up off of the waiver wire early on in the season for the sake of those bye week fill-ins. Maybe you're streaming the position. I think Bryce Young is actually going to be a valuable quarterback on a weekly basis. Yeah, my quarterbacks did have the same bye week in terms of Love and Penix. Wanted JJ, but no dice. Where did McCarthy go? Oh, he goes 132. A weird sniping on JJ McCarthy. That team took him unstacked with Jaden Daniels, I believe, above ADP. You didn't want Palmer? Palmer's not bad, though. I think at his price, compared to the other receivers that he's going around, I don't think Palmer's a bad pick. It's just kind of a weird target share in Buffalo. Like, you really have no idea what level of target share he's going to have. You know, like, you're hoping for a Mac Hollins season, but it could work out where he scores like 8 touchdowns and, you know, eclipses even Keon Coleman. Josh Palmer has played well in the past. I am a Chargers fan, so I've been a believer in Palmer, and he has let me down on occasion. But barring injury, Palmer probably would have been better last year than his numbers would have indicated. I think Palmer's a fine selection. Just, it's a better pick if you have Josh Allen, which you do not. So who did you want instead of Josh Palmer? Were you looking for a quarterback there? If Geno makes it back to you, I would recommend drafting Geno. At 178, I think Geno's a steal, and he is still on the board. So we'll see what BD West does. Probably snipes you. Anyways, we are pretty much strictly running back wide receiver the rest of the way. We've got good receivers so far, but we do need to fill in this roster with some more. Yeah, you do go Geno. I like that Geno pick. I'm going to take Will Shipley. Maybe the Madden curse does strike again and Saquon misses some time. We'll take Shipley. I do not think A.J. Dillon is a big threat. Not at all. So give me Will Shipley as our 5th running back. I think we're going to grab a 6th running back, in all honesty, given the fact we have both Seattle players. think it might be worth it. But at this stage, we've got 3 picks left. I think 2 of them should be wide receivers. We're going to go with Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen's going to play this year. I do not think Keenan Allen will sit. He's going to sign with someone. He just doesn't really need to be participating in training camp very much. Res Dog goes Alec Pierce. Very interesting. I think if he comes back around, Res Dog, I think I would go Dante Thornton at 202 for that Geno stack. Personally, I think that's what I would do. Is it necessary? Maybe not completely, but I don't think you have anyone stacked up with Geno. And there are some somewhat decent camp reports so far. Dante Thornton is running with the ones in minicamp. A player I've mentioned on the stream since the draft. I have peppered in Thornton a few times in round 18. Now it looks like he's going around 17. So we'll see if someone snipes him from you. But if you need receiver, that's a player I would consider at that spot. Anyways, we have 2 picks left. I don't think we need an 8th receiver on this team. We got St. Brown, who's going to be a weekly staple, kind of locked in for 14 points every week. We got the London Mooney Penix combo. We got Tet McMillan, Chris Olave, Keenan Allen. I don't think I need a 8th receiver on this team. I like the top 5 enough where I feel strongly about it. The upside with Keenan gives me high hopes. At running back, though, I still feel it's a little shaky. We got the age concerns with Aaron Jones, some touch split concerns with Kyren Williams. Maybe they're unfounded, but maybe it does happen where Kyren is not the workhorse anymore. We have all the Seattle backfield locked up, so that's decent, but every week one of them will not be contributing. And then if Saquon doesn't get hurt, Shipley's a 0. Shipley's not giving us jack fucking shit. So I'm probably going to grab another running back and one more wide receiver. But if you don't take Thornton, I probably will myself. If not, we could maybe go Ray McLeod, but I think that might be overkill. I don't know if Ray really has much value at all. We could go Amari Cooper for the other unsigned veteran with upside. Amari Cooper is the same age as Calvin Ridley. But there's also Jalen Tolbert, Jermaine Burton. We took Burton in the last one, so maybe not. We mentioned Torrey Horton. Maybe I go Torrey Horton. You do go Dante Thornton. I'm going to go Keaton Mitchell. Explosive playmaking ability. Might do nothing, but might mix his way in and contribute alongside Derrick Henry. We're going Torrey Horton. We brought him up earlier in the stream. I think a high potential player in Seattle. My pick to be the wide receiver 3, and if Kupp goes down, I think the most likely player to be the wide receiver 2, get the most stacks. But this is the roster. We have Jordan Love stacked up with Tucker Kraft. Oh, maybe we should have taken Dontavian Wicks instead of Torrey Horton. That's probably would have been a better decision. We have Michael Penix double stacked with Drake London and Darnell Mooney. We have Bryce Young with Tet McMillan. Running back Kyren Williams, Kenneth Walker, Aaron Jones, Zach Charbonnet, Will Shipley, and Keaton Mitchell. And then wide receiver Amon-Ra, Drake London, Tet McMillan, Chris Olave, Darnell Mooney, Keenan Allen, Torrey Horton, tight end Evan Ingram, Tucker Kraft. Decent team, some good stacking options, hoping for the best. Wide receivers a little bit thin, but in general, enough targets, enough volume, and enough talent overall where it should be fine. Not worried about it. Tight end, a little bit interesting, but high touchdown upside with both. And hopefully Evan Ingram does get a fuck ton of targets and does pay off. So yeah, this team is decent. These quarterbacks need to hit, but I do think it can compete. I like the team a decent amount. Let's take one last look at Team 10, who's drafting with us. Julius Cook, a.k.a. ResDog. He has Lamar Jackson with a heavy Baltimore investment. He's got Derrick Henry. He has Rashad Bateman. He has Isaiah Likely. Some good stacking options there. And then he has Geno Smith with Dante Thornton, otherwise unstacked. And then at running back, Derrick Henry, Alvin Kamara. Hopefully those old guys stay healthy. Definitely outperformed their ADP last year, so hoping for that to repeat. And then Cam Scatterbo, in my opinion, the RB1 in New York. Question is, how much will he be splitting time with Tyrone Tracy? I think Scatterbo is going to be the better value, but in general, the Giants offense just a little shaky, so kind of risky, but decent value on him. He's been falling a little bit. Javonte Williams at a very good price. I think Javonte is the guy you want in Dallas. Isaac Guerrero, tremendous upside if CMC goes down. I think he is the next best option there in terms of running back 2. And then Jerome Ford still probably has a role. It's just a question of what will that touch split be in Cleveland. Will they be any good? But receiving core looks pretty solid with Neighbors, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Brandon Ayuk, Rashad Bateman, Josh Palmer, Alec Pierce, Dante Thornton. And then tight end, likely could be a league winner. TJ Hawkinson should be a top 5 tight end. Hopefully he is. That Addison suspension should pay off. So I think your team is pretty good, man. I think it worked out well. I think receivers a bit strong. My only concern is drafting Godwin and Ayuk together. That's my only red flag there. Both coming off an ACL injury, or Godwin, I guess it's a big ankle injury, not an ACL, but they're probably both going to miss the month of September. They probably miss some weeks, and maybe they're not the same after they come back. So if you hit on them, they both have top 10 upside. It could be the combo you need, but there's also the world where they hold you down for long enough where you just don't have enough points to qualify to advance at receiver, because Bateman's risky, Pierce is risky, Palmer, very risky. You do have Neighbors, though. That should be fine. My only concern is that the Godwin-Ayuk pairing could be a little bit too fragile to pay off. But if they get on the field by week 3, I think you're fine. If they're closer to week 6, that could bite you in the ass a little bit. But otherwise, I think you're definitely going to compete. The running back core should pay off. Hopefully those old guys don't get hurt. But good job, good team. Good luck to you, and good luck to me and this roster. But that's going to be it. I hope everyone watching enjoyed the show. We'll be drafting again this weekend. And if you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button if you enjoyed. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Thursday evening. And if you're playing golf like I am anytime soon, I hope you finished your round with a couple birdies. Usually, I try and get at least one birdie. It usually happens, but hope for the best. Anyways, good luck to you. Hope you enjoy. Peace out, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.